went to Columbus for Ohio State. State of Ohio's been good to us.
I'm going to get Colin Cowherd to come meet me. We're going to have a Baker Mayfield reunion. Let's do it.
Back here with Sarah Kustok, we're talking Kyrie Irving. For the Celtics, their first order of business will be figuring out Kyrie's summer plans. According to reports, Kyrie is set to meet with Celtics brass to discuss his future with the organization. Sarah, what do you think? What do you think Kyrie's best option is at this point?
The Brooklyn Nets.
Oh,
I'm a little biased in saying that. However, I think there's a multitude.
It's okay. The Kansas City Chiefs and Nick Wright, every once in a while they throw in a Syracuse reference and everything.
Oh, I'm the biased
I'm used to
nice
some
Vikings
home cooking.
purple ties.
I'm here for Shaq, man. He's a Q-dog.
I got you.
All right?
In all seriousness, though, I think Kyrie Irving, the best option for him is the place that he wants to be at. We've seen him succeed in Cleveland. He's won a title. He's a 6-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. He has got all the talent in the world. But part of it is who he's surrounded with, the roster he's surrounded with. But part of it is just him mentally engaging himself and being in the place that he wants to be at, and the group that he gets along with, who he plays with, embracing and buying into the coach that's in front of him. And so I think for Kyrie Irving, obviously reports have been out and have for some time that currently Brooklyn is the front runner and the favorite for where he wants to go in free agency. And so I think he would be a tremendous fit there just because of his game fitting along with some of that young core. The pieces that they have, the depth that they have in the group, they could use a playmaker like him, his ability to finish, the handles that he had. There's so many things in terms of how he can be such a dynamic force on the offensive end, but I also think that Kenny Atkinson has shown an ability, Sean Marks, the culture and the buy-in, that Kyrie Irving returning home to a place where he grew up, a team that he rooted for as a kid, might be a perfect situation for him. Do I think he'd be a great fit with the Lakers and returning with LeBron? Absolutely. We have seen that succeed, and when you've succeeded somewhere, I think you look at just how powerful it would be to have him along with Anthony Davis. I'm not convinced, though, that Kyrie, after leaving once and not wanting to play necessarily with LeBron or wanting his own team, I'm not convinced that he would be okay being the third option on a team.
So I think when it comes to Kyrie Irving, it's does the guy want to win or does he want to be the man? Because when he was with someone else, he was able to win. He hasn't won.
Both. He wants both.
But he just saw that he can't have both as being the man, or maybe he's not capable of it. Or maybe
I don't think and that's a great point, because I think a lot of us look at it like we felt like what he did last year proved that he can't be the man. I think he's still growing. I think he's still maturing, and I don't think Kyrie Irving believes that. I don't think he looks at it as last year being an example that he can't be the top option on a team without them winning. And so that's why I think it's going to be very important who he is surrounded with, because I think Kyrie Irving still has a lot of room to grow, not only as a basketball player, but also with his leadership skills.
But then, Nick, if that's the case, wouldn't Brooklyn be the best place for him?
That's the exact point, is that if Kyrie believes I can be the best guy on a championship level team, Boston just didn't fit for a lot of reasons, some of which he has to look to himself. The way he handled the regular season, that works for LeBron. That does not work for everyone else. And LeBron is able to kind of moderate his energy during the regular season, still first-team All-NBA MVP candidate. Kyrie, with a bunch of young guys, when he's like, man, in February, I'm just looking to the playoffs, that didn't work. His leadership style didn't work, a lot of those things. If he looks inwards on that, if he also tries to improve himself as a two-way player, if he also tries to improve his overall, let's call it health, all these things that are important to be the best guy on a championship team, then Brooklyn makes sense. Otherwise, why would Brooklyn be any different than Boston? Otherwise, what does Brooklyn have to offer other than a cooler city than Boston that didn't succeed in Boston? I am curious how you think Kenny Atkinson and the head coaching there and the coaching style can work differently than Brad Stevens, which is a much more egalitarian style of offense. Good shot, great shot, ball flow as opposed to letting one guy dominate the basketball. But if he wants to be the man and thinks that can work, then yes, Brooklyn makes sense. The Knicks could also make sense if they get KD. You get to be the man for a year and then have KD come help. We know the Lakers work. I don't know that the Lakers can make the money work. I know Kyrie has not closed the door to playing with LeBron, but it seems like everything is pushing towards him becoming a Brooklyn Net.
I think in terms of Kenny Atkinson, we saw D'Angelo Russell last year become a first-time All-Star. His style of play didn't necessarily fit Kenny Atkinson's system. It was not what they looked for. They were not about mid-range shots. They were not about someone at times dominating the ball, high-volume score. It was an egalitarian offense and sharing the ball, a lot of movement. However, Kenny Atkinson, to me, is brilliant in the way in which he coaches tough. He demands a lot. He wants you to fit in to a team mentality. But he'll bend, and he'll understand, how do I get the best out of this player? How do I utilize his strengths to try and fit the greater good of the team? And there was give and take throughout the course of a lot of times throughout the season. But he is so egoless that he understands, I'm going to do what I can for a player when they have the type of talent that can get us to win. And that's exactly what we saw last season. And I would think a lot of that would translate into how he would coach Kyrie this year.
One thing I'm going to try to respect, and I don't know this because I didn't have a father in my life, but if I did have a father that was on top of my career the whole way, his voice would have an influence on where I wanted to go. And also, I played with iconic players. I played with 7 players in the Hall of Fame. And the things those players said to me and the tempo that they set on a regular basis, they had a tremendous influence on driving me every day. So what we have with Kyrie is he grew up in Jersey City. He grew up a Nets fan. His dad, former basketball player, is a Nets fan. Does that influence have a greater pull on him than the influence of LeBron James? Let's say that the Lakers do get the cap space available. LeBron James, I'm not going to say as a father figure, but as a big brother, setting that tempo every day. Now, I'm going to tell you, because me and Randy Moss, sometimes we had issues because I was consistent with what tempo I was going to have every day. When I come to work, I'm pretty consistent, the guy I'm going to be. And I'm going to set the mark for what kind of enthusiasm we're going to have throughout the building. Is Kyrie Irving ready for that? Because Kyrie's been inconsistent. He can do that in Brooklyn. They're not going to force him to be some great leader. They're not going to force him to take care of his body. If he's with LeBron James, he's going to have to come in early. He's going to have to stay late. There's going to be other demands on him as a leader. Does he want that? And I believe that Kyrie Irving and the influence from his dad is going to win him over to be back playing with Brooklyn. I don't think it's the best decision for him from a basketball standpoint, because as long as Joel Embiid is in Philadelphia and they don't have anyone to be able to guard him for the Nets, they are always going to be the second, third, fourth best team, at least in the Eastern Conference. So let's see which wins out. LeBron's influence, if they get the cap space available, or his relationship with his dad.
I also think if you want to be a leader on a team, and I'll speak from this just from being around and knowing this, it's not even so much Kenny Atkinson. It's not even so much the front office. The players in Brooklyn right now, they spend all summer in Brooklyn. They're at the practice facility every morning, showing up early, staying late, and that's top to bottom. So if you see your teammates doing that and you want to come in and be the best player on the team and be the leader, I think you naturally fall in line.
Come in tomorrow morning at 3:30 a.m. with me.
No problem,
See me
Jenna.
do it every day.
If you're here at 3:30 tomorrow, I'll definitely be here. I think you're going to be on a 10-day vacation, but maybe I'm wrong.
Sarah, stick around. Coming up, should the Lakers
Sarah,
be
you'll be here
win it all
tomorrow at
next
3:30
season?
tomorrow.
It's not a vacation.
Oh, okay. You're just going to a
Jack
national
is going to
park.
join us in
Really
20 minutes.
tough
First
life.
things first.
Getting